Hello everyone, this is Faith in Football. I'm David Burns.
And I'm Jacob Perry.
He's back with us, but today is a special day. We have one of our favorite football fans who is a fan of a terrible team this year.
Yep.
But last year was a good team until the Eagles blocked a kick. Who is it, Jacob?
George Mirza!
Hi.
Alright guys, so this is Faith in Football and we always start with prayer, so let's pray. By the way, before we do, sorry guys, we might have an interruption later. I'll tell them we're recording the show and then we'll get back. Let's scoot to our left a little bit. You got some room on your shoulder. There we go. Alright, let's pray. Dear Lord, we thank you so much, God, just for who you are. We thank you for football, Lord. We pray for the players, God, and their health, Lord, and I just pray for football to we just thank you so much for football, God. And we pray all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
So we don't have a first section because our prediction section with 3 people instead of either 2 or 1 is going to be a lot longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a game. We're going to discuss it and then do our predictions. So at first, San Francisco at Baltimore. At Baltimore. All right, let's hear it, Jacob. What do you got, man?
Well, here's some things we got to look at. It's supposed to rain.
It's at Baltimore.
And it's at Baltimore.
Yeah.
I do think Lamar Jackson won't run as much because it's going to rain.
Running games actually do better in the
Really?
rain. Yeah, passing games do
Well,
worse.
Okay. I just still don't think he's going to run very much.
Alright.
I think he's going to be hesitant a little bit with our front 7. I think our secondary is going to have a hard test this week, having to deal with Marquise Brown being so quick and fast. They haven't dealt with somebody that fast this whole year. So I think that's gonna play a role. I think us having to keep Lamar Jackson contained. I think we need to contain him even more than we did Kyler Murray. He got away with a few runs when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if we can, I think our things are secondary and containing Kyler Murray. Offensively, I think Jimmy just has to get that ball out faster. Even this week, because Baltimore, they blitz 86% of the time, and Jimmy's not well under pressure. But I think if George Kittle's there and has those short to immediate routes, I think he'll be okay. I think I'll just have to look for George Kittle that whole game. So look for George Kittle to have a big game.
I'm going to tell you something. George, speak in whenever you want. By the way, I'm probably going to interrupt you guys later on. This time I would have felt really rude. So, I'm going to say this. Baltimore's defense is set up to beat Jimmy G.
It's true.
Niners defense is going to be the best defense that Lamar Jackson has played.
Also true.
I'm going to say this. I'm making this for you. If the Niners win this game, I will choose the Niners every single week the rest of the year.
Deal.
Okay, shake on it. I'll choose the Niners even against the Seahawks in Seattle because I'll tell you what, I don't care if Lamar doesn't run an incredible amount. I guarantee you he'll still run more than Jimmy G does.
That's because he can't run. He's too scared.
And so I think Baltimore is, as much as I think Niners might be the team that's most fit to stop Baltimore outside of maybe the Bills, I think that Baltimore's even more set to stop the Niners. Like, they're going to force fast passes, which Jimmy G throws up interceptions. They have Marcus Peters, who you can burn him on double routes, but if they don't give him enough time, it doesn't matter. Marlon Humphrey's balling. They still have Jimmy Smith, who's a baller. They have Earl Thomas, who's a baller. Their secondary should be able to pick apart Jimmy G. And the Ravens are playing like the Super Bowl team right now. They're the best team in football this week. And they have been for the past few weeks. So, sorry, man. I got to go Baltimore. Do you have anything?
My big thing is just when you look at both teams, you see two defenses that are currently playing out of their minds, but then you look at the offenses, and that's where it gets a little bit mismatched. And I think that it's hard to not side with Baltimore playing at home in this scenario.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of noise for Jimmy G to deal with on top of playing against a defense that's built to take him apart. So I think it'll be a fun game either way, but I'm really, really expecting a harsh offensive showing from San Francisco in this scenario.
I have one more deal to make with you. If Jimmy G throws a pick six, you have to call him Jimmy Pick Six for the rest of the year. Come on.
That's
Come on,
highly That's highly possible.
Yeah.
That's highly possible.
All right, so my prediction is Baltimore 24-17.
My prediction is Baltimore 2013.
My prediction is 24-21, and it's my game of the week.
Oh, yeah.
This should have been a Sunday night game, but Fox, they couldn't do it because it was blocked.
Oh, wow.
But not worried about it.
Yeah, that would have been a good Sunday
See how
night
we played
game.
last week?
All right, so now we have Washington at Carolina. In this game, to be honest, I don't really care about watching either team. I like Dwayne Haskins, but he's not doing anything right now. Love Terry McLaurin. This game, you're watching to watch Christian McCaffrey. That's my opinion. You guys go for it.
I absolutely agree with that. There's literally, I don't know. I'm not super intrigued by this game. I think that Carolina has a pretty strong chance of winning it. I would be fairly surprised to see Washington pull something off to beat them. DJ Moore, I think, has been playing pretty great this year as well. Curtis Samuel is a great piece to have. Just that offense versus Washington's defense, I don't really think that there's much of a game to expect from Washington's side. So
There isn't much in this game. It's Carolina. I think they're going to manhandle these guys. Kyle Allen, man, I don't know about you guys, but I like him.
He's
I think
kind of
he's-
going
yeah,
downhill, though.
Yeah, but
The Carolina, I gotta tell you guys something. So I'm gonna say my score now. Carolina, I have a 23-21. It's close, and you wanna know why? Because you guys both have kind of blowouts here. The reason why is because Carolina's been really bad lately. Like they've been. People are upsetting them because they've been doing bad. Like they've been bad, and Kyle Allen's been not good. That's why I think, only because of Christian McCaffrey do I have them winning. I think it's two bad teams playing each other. Except one of them has Christian McCaffrey.
I have him on my fantasy team too. He scared me.
There you
yeah,
go.
great player.
So what's your guys' scores?
32-10, Carolina.
I have it 24-10, so slightly less of a blowout.
There we go. I have a close game. So the Jets at Cincinnati. Want to start us off here, George?
This is another game that I'm not particularly intrigued by, in all honesty. But one thing to look out for is Sam Darnold potentially building off of his offensive showing last week. If he can, against Cincinnati's defense that hasn't been very strong this year, find ways to pick it apart and build upon what he did last week. We could see a pretty interesting offensive showing from New York. On Cincinnati's side,
Andy Dalton's back.
Andy Dalton's back. Ryan
He
Finley,
only lost 8 games in a
Yeah,
row.
yeah.
Finley's lost 3. That's too much.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see how things go down, but
Yeah. This game's weird. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it might be interesting to watch on the fact it's two bad teams.
yeah.
In all honesty, watching two bad teams play against each other is almost as fun as watching two good teams play against each other. It's like watching college football, basically. So, and I love college football. I kind of agree with everything George said. I like Sam Darnold. There's not much. I don't really care what happens this game. Whoever wins, whoever loses, it doesn't matter. But somebody has a different thought.
I do. I think Cincinnati's going to upset New York.
Whoa!
All these other games are super close. you would think some of these other teams like, oh man, like these guys have the crappier record, but these guys have one more win, but this team's worse. I think the Jets are better than Cincy, but
And they have 4 more wins.
yeah, I think Cincy has something to prove here. I also think the Jets
Yeah.
are gonna. I think it's gonna be really close. I think the Jets come in and they score right away, but I think Andy Dalton has something to prove now that he's coming back.
Yep.
I do give Cincinnati, first year head coach, they never do great. Especially some of
Never-
them.
yeah.
Some
They
of
did
them.
pretty good.
But since
He's a Kyle Shanahan guy.
I am. It took us 3 years. Year 1 we didn't do well. So I
Year
think
2.
year 2 we did
Last year? Didn't you guys have the 2nd overall pick in the draft?
Landon Nick Bosa.
That's right, baby. Look
I
at
guess
him.
if that's what you're aiming for.
Defensive player of the year.
He's doing good. He's doing real good.
Yeah, I think Cincy is going to win 21-17.
Okay. I have 17-16.
I have 14-10.
This is going to be the first fun game to watch here, I think. Like a game where it's 2 talented teams. It's Tennessee at Indianapolis. You get to see Tannehill, who's kind of going off. Is Brissett back?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Brissett's playing. Tennessee's on the up. Indianapolis is on the down. I like Indianapolis. I like their team. I wish they had a worse record so they could draft a better quarterback. Not that I don't like Brissett, but Brissett is just, the most he is a bridge quarterback. So I guess he could play for them for a couple years and get them by. But yeah, this game, I'm just going to get my stuff done quick here. 26-24, Tennessee. Derrick Henry's a monster. He's going to continue being one.
For me, I have Tennessee again. I think they win this game. The guy under center, his name's Ryan Tannehill. He's 4-1 since taking over this team.
Yeah.
And he has brought them back into playoff contention.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this will be Tannehill's game again. In fantasy football, he has scored 24 points or more in the last 5 games.
Wow.
Even the game he lost, he scored plenty of points, 20-something from what I checked. So I think Tennessee gets it 28-14.
There we go.
I also agree with that. Tennessee, I just think, is the team that's hot right now. Indy's definitely on a cold spell. Tennessee has the hot hand. They have a new quarterback that has been doing great for them. Their defense has been consistently underrated. And I think that it's going to be a fun game to watch, but I think that it'll eventually come to Tennessee's victory, 28-21.
You guys both have much better handwriting than I do.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, I thought that was Miami.
Well, sorry, guys. Anyway, I just was seeing how much harder it is to read my scores than to read your guys. Anyway, so the next game we have Oakland at KC. Do you have an interesting thing to say here?
Well, yes. I think that Oakland's going to end up pulling out the win here. I really think that Oakland, they have a team that runs through Josh Jacobs, and Kansas City has a team that struggles against the run. Eventually, I just think that it's going to come to a point to where Oakland's playing for the lead in the division. It's a chance for them to show what they're really made of. They have to be angry after last week's game, getting blown out by the Jets to that degree. That's just not a thing that a good team does. So they really have to prove themselves. Like I said, I think that this game's going to hang on Josh Jacobs' shoulders, and I think that the game's going to be a close one, a really fun one to watch. I think that it'll be a shootout, and I think that the end score is going to be 34-27.
There we go. I like that pick. I think Oakland has to be pissed off with losing to the Jets last week. Not losing to the Jets, my bad. Literally losing their football cojones to the Jets. got annihilated. Oakland, I could really see winning this game, especially because Kansas City has not been the juggernaut they were the last year or two. But I do have Kansas City winning. And I have Kansas City winning because I don't really care too much for the Jets, and the Jets dominated the Raiders. So I think Mahomes needs to have a game to reestablish dominance. I think his name is falling too far down the charts now. Like Russell Wilson, who should have always been up there, but now he's passed him up. Lamar Jackson's the talk of the town. I think Deshaun Watson's being talked more than Mahomes. And man, of all those guys, by the way, all three of those guys, including Lamar Jackson, they're all about Super Bowls and stuff. Mahomes is actually, Mahomes likes the fame. So I wouldn't be shocked if he just comes out and just, goes off. I have him win 38-24. Should be a fun game to watch.
So for me, I think this game's a little closer. Just based on how these guys play each other every year, it's usually a close game with them going back and forth. I do think Kansas City comes out, and I do believe they're going to win. I have 27-24. Oakland should have not gotten annihilated that much by a New York Jets team. That is not very good.
I have a question for you guys. Just a quick answer. Do you think Oakland might have been looking past the Jets to this Kansas City game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they might be really well game planned for this in all reality.
I think that is a very, 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 very possible.
See, I think, like you said, Patrick Mahomes reestablishes himself this game.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna take first step the next two games because they both kind of mean something to me. First is Philadelphia at Miami, and I gotta tell you something. I love the Eagles. I love the Eagles. The team, the Eagles. I don't like them this year. They are so horrible to be a fan of because I expected such high results from their team. There's such iffy play from Carson Wentz. There's terrible play from our receivers. Our O-line keeps getting hurt. Our defense is doing much better now, way better now. And our running game, I miss Jordan Howard, just like you do, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got Ajayi.
Wasted a jersey on that.
so I gotta tell you, we're gonna beat Miami. Philadelphia's gonna beat Miami. I have them winning 37-14, and here's why. I think this is the game. There has to be a game. So we should go to the playoffs. If we beat the Cowboys, we go to the playoffs. Plain and simple. But listen to our schedule. Miami, New York, Washington, Dallas, New York. So we're going to go into Dallas most likely on a 3-game win streak. We could possibly go to the playoffs on a 5-game win streak. So we might end up being the hottest team going to the playoffs, and then we're going to play a good team. So that'll be fun. But this game, I think, sets the whole tone for the rest of the year. It's I love Wentz. I think Wentz is a great leader. If we let him go, it's going to be like the Chargers letting Drew Brees go, I'm telling you. But at the same time, he needs to have that game where it's just okay, guys, enough is enough. We shouldn't suck this bad. We need to win. And I think that's going to be this game. I should have put him as my stud of the week for fantasy because he needs to just go off. He needs to take what he's given. His tight ends need to go off. His receivers need to go off. Look for Miles Sanders to get a lot of receiving yards and touchdowns. I'm telling you, yeah, Philadelphia needs to score a lot here. So anyway, that's me.
So is Miles Sanders to start this week?
He's not the person I put. You know what? I do put him as a start this week, but I have another running back who I think is going to be the best player in fantasy this whole week. So
I do think Philly wins this game. I think Philly wins 21-10. I don't think they score as much points as what David and George put, just because of how slow they've been playing. And I know it's the Dolphins, but
scored 33 against the Jets.
It's the Jets and it's the Dolphins. I know, but still, Carry on. I'm over this game.
All right, I said 24-10.
That is my upset.
I could see the score being higher for Philadelphia's side, especially if that offense gets going. Obviously, a big part of that's going to rely on Wentz playing consistently throughout the game, which the Miami Dolphins is a team that he can do that against. And then on the flip side, 10 points scored by the Dolphins, I feel like is pretty realistic. I don't hate the Philadelphia Eagles defense at all. I think that it's still a pretty talented group.
And Wentz is your starting quarterback in fantasy, so you
Wentz-
hope I'm
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, no.
George needs him to do good. 'Cause
Yeah.
if George loses, he's out of playoffs.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, I got to tell you, this next game is my upset of the week. I have Green Bay at the Giants. I have the Giants winning, guys. And I'll tell you this. Green Bay's run defense is terrible. Like, worse in the league, terrible. Like, you look at their overall defense, and it looks really bad when they have a great pass defense.
Oh, they do?
I mean, they have a good pass defense.
Yeah, yeah.
Jair Alexander is a stud. Anyway, so I have New York Giants winning, and I'm going to go ahead and give my stud of the week for running backs right now. Saquon Barkley is going to be the best fantasy player in all of the NFL this week. Hey, if I was Daniel Jones, I wouldn't even throw the ball. I'd just hand it to Barkley. 500 times if they can. I'd hand it to him 500 times. So anyway, we're about to have our interruption. So I have New York Giants beating Green Bay 31-28.
For me, I think that this game goes a little bit differently. I do think that Barkley has the absolute potential to take over this game and dominate the ground because it's Saquon Barkley and it's against Green Bay's horrible run defense. But I still think that Green Bay is a superior team as a whole. They haven't... I mean, they've been on a great season so far. I can't see them losing to a team this bad. I mean, like I said, the one way that I can see it happening is if there's no way to stop Saquon. And
Saquon.
it is a possibility, but I'm taking Green Bay here. I'm doing the safe bet. I just can't put all of my stock into Saquon, especially since his injury. He hasn't been as productive as he's been in the past. But I mean, this could be the game to turn that around as well. Either way, right now I'm sitting at Green Bay 24-14.
I think for this one, Green Bay comes out throwing that ball. They have something to prove since they got their butts kicked last week.
Rodgers hasn't looked great this year.
I know, but it's Rodgers.
Rodgers. Okay, guys, hear me out here. So, and I'm not taking anything away from San Francisco. San Francisco annihilated a good team last week. This isn't against San Francisco. This is just Rodgers. So last week I'm like, Drew Brees has slowed down, which he has this year, by the way. Phillip Rivers has slowed down bad, right?
Wall.
Tom Brady's even kind of slowed down a little bit. Aaron Rodgers has slowed down, and he's younger than those guys, but what we don't realize is he's been through like 6 injuries. Like, he's not been... We think he's really slowed down hardcore this year. He's slowed down. He's been slowing down since 2014. And I don't know. I don't think... he's still Aaron Rodgers. He could take over any game. I'm just saying.
But I believe he has a running back who has scored the most touchdowns in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
So just hand it off to him the whole time.
So you're choosing Aaron Jones over Saquon Barkley.
I am. And that's ballsy.
Very.
And I know I'm crazy. But how many of these crazy things have I gotten right this year? Quite a few.
Okay.
I might not get this one right, but
Well, Green Bay should win this game. You guys are right.
Yeah.
So what was your score on that?
I had 32-14. You know what? 32-21. I think Giants scored a few.
Barkley.
Yep.
All right. So the Rams at Arizona. You have an interest in this game?
For me, I think that this might end up being the game of the week. I really think that Arizona's offense is fairly underrated. Kyler Murray is extremely fun to watch. And against that LA defense that's been struggling, I think that it'll be very fun to watch the Cardinals pick apart the Rams in this game.
Yeah.
I think that it'll be a decently close game because the Rams offense still can get going, especially if Todd Gurley gets going. I really hate that they invested in Goff. I think that was a horrible choice. But at the same time, it's not like Arizona's defense is crazy good, so it's very possible that it becomes a back and forth brawl between both teams. With that in mind, I think that'll be a pretty fun game to watch. I think that Kyler Murray does end up coming out victorious, leads his team to a victory, and carries his team to a victory.
Do you think it's 14-20 with a minute and 40 seconds left and Kyler Murray?
That's what I would really, really like to imagine happens. I think that it'll be a late game touchdown.
That's good.
And Kyler Murray wins the game for his team. I think that it'll be, hopefully, it could become like a defining moment for this year for him because he's gone under the radar a lot and he's been a stud, especially in fantasy. And I think that Arizona giving the Rams a slap in the mouth would be really cool. So with that in mind, I have the game going 21-20 Arizona.
Yeah. So here, Arizona, I'm just going to be quick. I don't think the Rams are that good. Arizona, I think, is going to win 28-24. That's all. If you can't get
I'm having second thoughts. I'm thinking of something.
Oh, that's the next game.
Oh, I meant this one. I had the Chargers. I'm sorry. That's because it's the next game. I had the Rams. But after thinking about it, Cooper Kupp hasn't played well. Todd Gurley hasn't played well. Jared Goff hasn't played well. Aaron Donald played like crap last week.
Well,
That's Aaron
they're
Donald.
double and triple teams.
Yeah.
I have Arizona 24-21. Weird thing about Arizona, they run a no-huddle offense. Was it a game a few weeks ago? Those guys, it was great. It was weird because I've never seen that in the NFL. Just the whole game, no huddle. So
Peyton Manning kind of did that, didn't he?
kind of, but that's Peyton Manning.
Exactly. I'm saying that's cool. Like,
But I kind of like that no-huddle offense, that college type. I think Kyler Murray's going to have a good game this week. I think he scores a game-winning touchdown.
there we go. Go ahead, since you're talking about the Chargers, do the next game.
We'll go to the Chargers game. If you guys don't know this, last time these guys played, Austin Eckler scored 28 fantasy points.
Oh, wow.
He also was a starter that week, so I give him the benefit of the doubt because Melvin Gordon wasn't there. But I think the Chargers are going to come back, and I think they're going to win. The Broncos, they're trying to get that top 5 pick. So I think the Chargers have it. I do think Philip Rivers has a better game. Not as good, but I think he has a better game. I think Melvin Gordon gets it going a little bit. Look for Hunter Henry in this one. And then Austin Eckler. I think the Chargers are going to win 27-21.
Yeah, Rivers has thrown, I think, 3 picks each of the last 2 games, maybe even 4.
And I dropped him in my fantasy football league because I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, he threw the game right to your opponents, right?
Yeah.
So
like
he does it. He does it in his career too. So so the Chargers at Denver, man, I almost wanted to pick Denver here, but the Chargers, there's so much good about the Chargers. I'm sticking with the Chargers. Part of me wants to switch to Denver because Denver's actually been playing better lately than the Chargers have been playing. So, but I'm going to go with the Chargers, and I think it's because Chargers defense is going to mess around with a young quarterback's head. So, yeah, I have it 21-17.
For me, I'm really banking on Drew Lock starting this week and potentially, due to having no previous game film on the guy, having a breakout game. And LA Chargers are a team that has been very, very cold this year. They've missed their projections by like an immeasurable amount of just performance. It's been really sad to watch, but at the same time, like Philip Rivers is like he hit a wall. He's been falling apart. And I don't think that it's going to be a very high scoring game, but I do think that it'll be a close game. My projection right now is 10-6. I think that Drew Lock gets it done against the Chargers. I think that Chris Harris provides a good matchup against Keenan Allen. I don't know. We'll see, but I'm picking Denver in this one.
On this game, I think Cleveland's going to come out swinging, but not helmets against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's the thing. In the final seconds of the game, do you guys think Sheldon Richardson's going to peel off Hodges' helmet and swing it at his head?
It's possible.
It's possible, because Hodges might be racist. You know, there's just all kinds of things going on here. I think Cleveland's going to win. They're kind of on a hot streak right now. And Pittsburgh, they have some new life with this new quarterback, so I guess I don't really know what's going to happen. But they're not very intimidating, in my opinion, anymore. I think Cleveland's going to win 18-16, and I think it's going to be a really weird game. And it's going to be awkward out there. I do think it'll be awkward, because Pouncey's going to be back, right? And, yeah, so...
I think that this game is also going to be very weird. I'm not really fond of either team, but the one thing that I think that Pittsburgh holds against the Browns is having a very, very, very good defense these past few weeks.
Yeah.
Minkah Fitzpatrick is an underrated star right now. He's really a guy who is deserving of the defensive MVP at this point in the year, or at least being in consideration.
TJ Watt too, right?
Yeah, and TJ Watt's been awesome too. Exactly. So when you hold that against a team that just lost their best defensive player last week, it's, in my opinion, it's just something that falls in the lap of Pittsburgh at this point. They are looking better under Hodges as their quarterback. I think that Baker Mayfield is going to struggle. So my choice is 20-10 Pittsburgh for this one.
Well, I think Cleveland's going to play well, not good. I think they're going to play well. I think they're going to come out in this one 14-10. I think Baker and Odell build off of last week and have a pretty good game. Even though that Steelers defense is really good, but that offense, man, I don't think they're going to be able to do much. You got Juju out. You have their Connor's out. Jalen Samuels might not play. So I don't know how well. And that Hodges guy got lucky last week, because I believe that 72-yard touchdown was a blown coverage. So I don't know. I think Cleveland will take the upper hand on this one. And I just don't want to see Pittsburgh in the playoffs so Rod can shut his mouth.
The fact that they're in the playoff contention's already a win. The one thing I will say, and to George's point, is this. I agree with a lot of it. What I disagree with is Cleveland's defense is pretty solid even without Garrett, and they're going against a really cruddy Pittsburgh offense.
That is very true.
Pittsburgh defense is much better, but Cleveland's offense is much better as well. So
one other thing that I do hold for Pittsburgh is that it is home for them.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
that's a little bit of an advantage as well. But that offense is definitely a question mark.
Yeah. So this next game is my game of the week, and I'll tell you why. Do you guys remember when Deshaun Watson first came into the league? That year, his first year, when Houston went into New England, and him and Tom Brady had this huge shootout, and Watson almost came out with the win? Well, I gotta tell you something. It's going to come back. I know Houston has not been playing that well, but Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback, one of the funnest quarterbacks to watch in the league. They have so many weapons. They have enough weapons to stretch this Patriots team out, who, even though they've played really good defense, the only good offense they've played, who they played this past week? The Cowboys. Okay, they played really good against the Cowboys. But outside of that, they played Baltimore Ravens, and the Baltimore Ravens put up 37 points on them. I mean, that's a lot of points. I think Houston is going to come up and win this. This could have been my upset of the week, but I decided New York Giants at Green Bay, or Green Bay and New York Giants is way bigger. I think Houston. I think Deshaun Watson and Tom Brady's going to have another battle. It's going to be fun to watch. And I have Deshaun Watson coming out with this game, 30-23. And I think it's 23-23 tied late, and he scores a game-winning touchdown. So, yeah.
I have New England. I do think this is a very close game, but New England has the best defense in the NFL. And I believe that defense will come in clutch. Stephon Gilmore, that guy's been on fire all week. So, and he is going to go against General.
And for the many weeks before that, too.
Oh, yeah. Right. Can I talk?
I don't know, can you?
Not today. I'm tired. But anyways, yeah, that defense is raw. They're good. I think they're going to shut down those receivers. But it's DeAndre Hopkins. Look for him to get a touchdown. But I don't think he's going to get much after that. 24-21.
For me, I think that this game is 100% one that David made a good choice in choosing for the game of the week. I think that it's going to be a really fun shutout. The matchup between Hopkins and Gilmore should be incredible to watch. Either way that it goes in favor of, they're both two incredible players. Personally, I think I'm going to take Gilmore on it just because he's been pretty much unstoppable this year as a corner. And Hopkins, while he's Hopkins, has had a not as optimal of a year as past. So for me, I'm taking New England 31-27. I think it'll be a really fun game to watch, really close, a nice shootout between two good teams. Yeah.
I'm going to say something real quick. New England statistically is the best defense in the league, but I do not think they're the best defense in the league. I think they have a very easy schedule.
Every
year. It will this year too. And I think that defenses that get looked past is San Francisco, Buffalo, Chicago. Their offense was better.
Yeah, that
seriously, Baltimore the last few weeks.
Oh, Baltimore's been on.
I mean, Baltimore had a slow start, but New England's defense has not been tested as much as San Francisco, as much as Baltimore, as much as Chicago. Chicago shut up Dalvin Cook. Like, that guy's a stud. So as much as I agree with everything you said on that, I actually think that this might be a good chance for them to get exposed. But they did shut down Dallas, but I don't think Dallas has been tested very much on offense either.
They're not very good.
Yeah, so the next game, can we all agree that this is the universal outside of our personal choices, just another game of the week by all three of us?
Yeah.
This game's going to be fun to watch. Seriously, Monday's the day, like, I kind of hang around and stuff, and Minnesota at Seattle is a game I'm really wanting to watch. I have the score far apart. I'm changing that right now. I'm going to say 34-31. Seattle's going to win. Russell Wilson's going to outduel Kirk Cousins. And I think that... Wow. I didn't realize that. Sorry. I just looked down. I think Seattle's going to come out and Wilson's going to have an MVP-like game. He was slow against the Eagles, but... I don't know. Minnesota's defense isn't as good this year. Their offense is really good, though. Yeah, I'm Seattle.
Go ahead, George.
For me in this game, I think that it'll be another close one. Like David said, it's pretty much universally viewed as another game of the week. It should be a really fun one to watch. I think it'll be a little bit more of a defensive battle, so I have a little bit lower of a score, but similar stat line just in regards of it being a close game. For me, I think that Seattle comes out on top, 21-17. I just think that it being at Seattle, Seattle's defense being great, Russell Wilson being Russell Wilson and having the year that he's having, I just think that they're going to come out on top. But regardless, it should be a very fun game to watch.
Tell them how great Seattle's defense has been.
They
haven't been that great, man.
Really?
Yeah, they're not very...
Well, I don't care. Either way.
I think for this, it all depends on if Jadeveon Clowney plays.
Yeah.
That's
As of right
true.
now, he's not playing, so I have Minnesota winning. If he was playing, then I would put Seattle.
Okay, that explains a lot. That's
So, yeah.
true too. That's a
That
good
is
point.
true.
That's a very good point.
I have Minnesota 24. I'm going to put 21. I have 17 here, but I think it's 21. I think it's going to be back and forth.
That's
I
really
think
good.
it's going to come back to
I didn't realize that.
who hasn't forced a turnover. And I do think that there'll be a few turnovers on that offense just because. But I do think Kirk Cousins has a good game. He's the start of the week in most leagues against that Seattle
Oh yeah,
offense.
Seattle secondary
Yeah.
is kind of trash.
And Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. I'm going to go Minnesota, man. I just like them in this one. And I don't care if it's at Seattle.
Yeah, I have to point out, I was just giving you trouble with the Seattle.
No,
defense.
but
it's because Seattle's defense has been great for so long in
Yeah.
the past. It's weird to think that this team that had Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, and all of them have a bad pass defense. But that's exactly what they have is
Yeah.
a bad pass defense. They have a pretty good
The
run
run
defense
defense is
with
good.
Davion Clowney. Yeah. All right, so now we're going to our
Studs and duds.
studs and duds of the week. So we're going to kind of go quickly through this. Just list them out for quarterback. My studs and duds. My stud is Nick Foles. That guy last week, I did a whole thing showing how he was a Christ follower and did it well for in the league. And I think he's going up against Tampa Bay, which will make him have a battle in the air because Jameis Winston throws for 10 miles a game. And then my dad is Jimmy G. I think Baltimore's going to make him throw some interceptions.
For me, I think that the stud of the week is going to end up being Murray, like I said earlier. Playing against that LA Rams defense, I just think that he's going to absolutely fry them. And then my dud for the week is Mayfield. I think that going up against that Pittsburgh defense and Minka Fitzpatrick and TJ Watt's coming off the edge, or TJ Watt, I just think that he's not going to have a great game.
Oh, that explains your pick more, too.
Yeah.
My stud, this guy's 4-1 since taking over this team. Put him back in playoff contention. He has scored about 20 to 22 points or more a game since he started. Ryan Tannehill, that is his team this year and next year and years to go.
Oh, wow.
My dud of the week, I'm going to go, this one's out on a limb too, because he always plays well against them. I'm going to go Carr. I don't think he has a game. I think he just hands the ball off quite a bit.
So you think Jacobs gets like 2 or 3 touchdowns here, huh?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. All right, so studs and duds for running back. My stud, I have Saquon Barkley. I think he's going to tear up the terrible Green Bay run defense. But I did like how you said that start of the week. Miles Sanders too, man. I think he has a good chance at breaking out this year or this week. He's been one of the bright spots for the Eagles. Dud, I have Dalvin Cook. He was shut down by Chicago. They're playing Seattle this week. Now, I didn't realize. I knew Jadeveon Clowney might not play. I didn't realize that the thing was he wasn't going to play. I thought it was just questionable. If he doesn't play, this changes a lot because Dalvin Cook's amazing. But if he does play, I think Seattle stops him and Kirk Cousins starts throwing it real early to Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. They're both playing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty sure.
No.
For me, I have stud as Josh Jacobs. I think that against that Kansas City defense, he's going to run all over them. I think that he's going to be their main, or the Oakland Raiders' main facet on offense. I think this will be a big week for him. He's been great so far this year, and he's going up against a bad run defense. So, dud, I have Melvin Gordon from the Los Angeles Chargers. I just don't think that against the Denver Broncos he's going to do very well. I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to shut him down. Yeah.
There we go.
You know, I had Austin Eckler here, but I've been thinking of somebody that not many people know about. This guy led this team's backfield and outsnapped the second guy by, I don't remember, but he scored almost 20 fantasy points and didn't play very much. His name's Jonathan Williams. Plays for the Colts. And I just read this. The Tennessee's defense has their opposing running backs have scored the 5th most fantasy points.
And Marlon Mack's out, right?
Yes. So,
Wow.
So I'm gonna go Jonathan Williams, and I just picked him up in fantasy football. So
Are you
I'm
starting him?
I don't know yet.
You should. He's your
I
stud
should.
of the week.
I should, but I also have other studs like Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey, and
Oh,
so.
well, Alvin Kamara, he's kind of he's
Well,
been a little bit
it's Alvin
quieter
Kamara,
this
yeah,
year, right?
keep it.
Yeah.
But my dud of the week,
This is ugly.
Mark Ingram.
If it's supposed to rain, they're gonna run the ball a lot.
We have a front 7.
But I'll go with, you know what? That helps my stud of the week, so I'm cool with that.
See?
Yeah, they're not going to hand off the ball once.
I think Mark Ingram doesn't have a good game this one. I think he gets stuffed quite a few times.
So for our wide receivers, stud and dud of the week for myself, you know what? I hope you're right on that because I have Marquise Brown as my stud of the week. And here's why he's my stud of the week. It's because Niners defense is great, right?
Yeah.
They should be able to stack the box and slow Lamar Jackson down. I don't think that they could win with a 4-man D-line the whole entire game. I think they're going to have to stack the box some. And if they do, I love Sherman. Sherman's great. Sherman cannot keep up with Hollywood Brown. I'm not wrong on that, right?
No.
Like in a foot rate, he can't. So I think Baltimore at some point is going to have to say, all right, play action pass, streak to Marquise Brown, outrunning tight hipped but super tall and very strong Richard Sherman. Great corner, not taken away. But Marquise Brown's super fast. I think he could put up 30 points this week, and I think he might need to. And dud of the week, I have Julian Edelman. Why do I have Julian Edelman? If I'm gonna be honest, I'm just gonna tell how it is. I did not think there was any good receiver that is going to have a terrible week this week. You chose an interesting one. I don't like yours at all, but
As done?
yeah.
Oh,
But
I changed my stud too.
but I like your stuff. Don't change that.
No, I gotta change on somebody. better.
Okay, but the reason why I put Edelman is because I'm going to go on a limb and say N'Keal Harry has a breakout game this week. So, yeah.
For me, I'm going with Lockett as my stud of the week. I think that he's just going to absolutely destroy Minnesota's secondary.
I am.
I mean, obviously, they have Harrison Smith, but cornerback-wise, they have Xavier Rhodes, who's been burnt toast this whole year. He has not played to his... I mean, last year he struggled too. It's been 2 years in a row now of him struggling, and I have no idea what's going on with him, but Rhodes have definitely been open. So I'm going Lockett there. And then my dud of the week is a little bit of a risky one, and I'm going with Hopkins.
Sorry, it's kind of a reach. So.
The thing with this
Just
is
a
that
bit.
it's also very, very relative. I think that he's not going to perform nearly as well as he would in an average week. I would expect, a few catches. Obviously, it's Hopkins, but like I said, he's going up against Stephon Gilmore, and Stephon Gilmore has been incredible this year. So
I have a question. If you have DeAndre Hopkins on your team, and you have just mediocre receivers behind him, do you take him out of the start? You're not saying take him out of the starting lineup.
No.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that
He's just not going to be
He's
as
just-
good as
yeah,
normal.
yeah.
Like,
And it'll
by
be like
substantial
by a
amount.
He's
substantial
gonna
amount.
score
Yes.
15 fantasy
Precisely.
points this week, not 20.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I would say
like 11, right?
yeah,
more like 11.
8 to 11. It's against Gilmore. I hold Gilmore very highly. That's one thing to take into account here. And I think that on the flip side, I think that Will Fuller actually is going to have a pretty nice game.
Will Fuller and Kenny
So-
Stills should be.
Yeah.
Whew. Man, Texans have so many weapons. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I wasn't insulting
Yeah, no,
your pick. I
I
wanted
get
to
what you
clarify
mean.
that.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean.
All right, I got my stud of the week. And there's two, but I'm going to go with the guy who was said on my paper. A.J. Brown.
Yes.
This guy
I like Brown.
has...
I like Brown as well.
He's been
He's trending up. And I think he's going to keep going. I think he's going to keep going up. I think Ryan Tannehill that's like Ryan Tannehill's favorite weapon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If he's not handing the ball off or running it himself, he's throwing it to A.J. Brown. I think A.J. Brown has another huge game. He doesn't get very many targets, but when he does, they're huge.
Yeah.
I think he gets an
He's
average
good.
of 6 to 8 targets.
He's good run after the catch. Am
Yes,
I right?
that's what it is.
Yeah. Jerry Rice, by the way. He's not Jerry Rice, but I'm saying it made him great. And Brandon Marshall.
You know, he trained with Jerry Rice.
Oh,
this
there you go.
offseason.
Who just I don't want you to go into description, I guess, but who was your other stuff?
DJ Chark.
Oh.
That guy's came out of nowhere all year,
Yeah,
but
no,
he's
he's
been
been
on
He needs
fire.
DJ Chark to do terrible.
Yeah, but I don't think he is. You want to know my dud of the week? Tyler Lockett. I don't think he has a good game this week.
Why?
Harrison Smith is going to be on him like a hawk.
So
And I usually get these right, too.
I'm a go ahead. You did get Mike Evans right that one time for sure. I know you've got another one right. I'm saying that was really impressive. I'm gonna be the middleman here, and I'm gonna say this: Vikings D line is pretty good, right? Like they're at least decent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Vikings D line forces Russell Wilson to make improv plays, do you know who he passes it to? Tyler Lockett. So if he's forcing Russell Wilson out of the pocket, unless Wilson can sit back and throw bombs to DK Metcalf, unless Josh Gordon has a breakout game, I think Tyler Lockett has to be the guy that Russell Wilson's going to. And if not, I think Minnesota might win this game because of that. So that you have Minnesota winning, though. So it makes sense. I'm not saying you're wrong. But I'm saying if you think Seattle wins this, you can't have him as a dud because he is the improv player for Russell Wilson. So I actually don't dislike it because you have Minnesota winning. But I don't know if he'd be my stud of the week, but I do think he's needed to be good. So my stud and dud of tight ends is I have Hollister as my stud.
I hate Seattle, but I like this guy.
Right?
Practice squad guy at the beginning of the year.
He's working for it. He's doing
He's
work,
good.
man.
Plays fullback, too.
Yeah, and he's the only tight end on their roster, correct?
Yep.
So, man, if it's not Lockett, you know what? Screw Lockett. Yeah, they're going Hollister. You're right, Jay.
So I think he's going to. I think he has a big game. I don't think he does.
Yeah, Harrison Smith most likely will cover the tight end, but we will see. I want Hollister to do good. And you know why I choose Hollister? You're right on this. Mike Zimmer's a great defensive mind. Great defensive mind. You know what great defensive minds do? They take away your best weapon. So they're going to be trying to take away Chris Carson a little bit. They're going to try to take away Tyler Lockett, and they're going to try to put pressure on Russell Wilson. And you know who they're not going to be thinking of? Hollister. That's who they're not going to be thinking of. And the dud of the week is Noah Fant, because he's either a stud or a dud, nothing in the middle, and I don't see him as a stud this week.
For me, my stud of the week is Darren Waller from the Oakland Raiders. I think that he's just another player who is going to be a huge part of the Raiders offense in a shootout. And I don't know if Kansas City really has any answers for him, honestly. He's a bit of a mismatch at the position. He's a guy I would love for the Bears to have, and I'm sad that they don't.
That's why he said Mitch match, because he wanted that match with Mitch on the Bears.
So yeah, I have a lot of faith in Waller this week.
He has a lot of faith in it.
Yes. Okay, and then my dud of the week is Fells, from the Texans. He's another guy who's pretty hit or miss week in and week out, and he's playing against New England's defense. I just don't see much of an opportunity for him to shine.
Do you think after this week his stock may have fell?
Yes.
He's only had a few good games this year, too.
Yeah.
So you have New England shutting down Fells and Hopkins.
That's ballsy.
Fuller. I think that Fuller has a big game.
Okay, so you're predicting a 35-point game from Fuller, kind of major, because you have.
I think that he will.
Points.
I think that he will have a very good game.
Okay, crazy. Look for Fuller. That should have been your stud, man.
Sure.
That's
Well,
true. It would've- but I don't know. I like Lockett this week.
My stud of the week for tight end, Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah. Okay.
That one's a huge gamble for me too.
Bobby Wagner out there.
Yeah, KJ Wright.
KJ Wright.
So it's a huge one, and he's played. He had a bye week last week, but the 3 games before that, he has scored 11 or more fantasy points, and Seattle doesn't play well against tight ends. They're the fourth worst.
It's because their safeties are horrible. Huh?
Yeah.
That's why. So I got Kyle Rudolph. I think he gets a few of these touchdowns.
Okay.
Now, the dud of the week, just because this team uses so many different tight ends, and this guy is usually their stud, I'm going to go Mark Andrews. I think Fred Warner shuts this guy down.
Okay.
That guy and Dre Greenlaw.
I did. Greenlaw's been.
Mark Andrews is not going to have a good game.
Man, so 2 Baltimore Ravens as his duds. I wonder if he has favoritism to their opponent.
Hey, yeah, dude. I wasn't afraid to say it either.
Marquise Brown. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We thank you, George, for joining us.
Of course.
It's been amazing having you back. Of course, my fish taco. So, thank you, guys. Please like, please subscribe, please share. We really like sharing our faith, but also talking about football. I know today was much longer, but it was for a good purpose. We have George with us. So, George, that means you're going to share this, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, thank you guys again for joining, and tune in next week.